Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm John Bachman. Right now we are talking to Georgia Republican Congressman Phil Gingrey. Dr. Gingrey serves on the House Energy and Commerce Committee and is also a member of the House GOP Doctors Caucus. It's great to talk to you again, sir.
John, great to talk to you too.
All right, first, the More Solyndra Act is moving forward in the House of Representatives. This bill would eliminate a government loan guarantee program which has already cost taxpayers more than $500 million when a solar panel firm Solyndra went bankrupt. Groups including the Heritage Foundation and Taxpayers for Common Sense say this bill is a good start but does not go far enough. Are you fully satisfied with the More Solyndra Act?
I am, John. You know, you can always, I guess, pull out that mantra of something not going far enough, and certainly no bill meets perfection. And you know, you try to do as much as you possibly can. And I think that that's the case here with the No More Solyndra Act, H.R. 6213. I think we've done, at least at this point in time, about as much as we can do. I want to particularly commend Chairman Cliff Stearns from Florida, who chairs the Oversight and Investigation Subcommittee of Energy and Commerce, and the staff did a great job of connecting the dots, and finally, under threat of subpoena, got the information, all the necessary information we needed to connect those dots, and that's the result, of course, is the No More Solyndra Act.
Yeah, some people have called this Congressman Stearns' swan song since he lost a tough primary race. This will be one of his last official acts of Congress. Now, the Obama administration has been accused of pushing this Solyndra loan even though the company was in trouble. But a report in Bloomberg Businessweek in February said that the House investigation, and I'm quoting them here, quote, turned up no evidence of wrongdoing. Is that an inaccurate statement?
Well, I think that is an inaccurate statement. The question, the very narrow question, which maybe the Bloomberg report was addressing, may have been a point-to-point connection between the Obama re-election team and the folks that got these loans, and you know, was it payback? I mean, you know, again, I think that's an unanswered question. But without a doubt, these loans were made without proper oversight, without looking into the viability of the business model. Certainly that was true in Solyndra, but also in Beacon Power and Abound, two other failed Department of Energy loan guarantees that were made under this same program. So the folks in the Department of Energy who were supposed to be doing the due diligence with the taxpayers' money, which is exactly what these loans were from the Bank of the Treasury, they failed the test of due diligence miserably.
Now, even though this bill is likely to die in the Senate, do you think it will raise awareness of the public and convince most people that the government should not get involved in picking winners and losers in the energy sector?
Well, or in any sector for that matter. I mean, that's the whole point. You know, it's gotten to be that in any sector, energy sector, automobile sector, you name it, these companies become too big to fail. Certainly the banking sector, financial institutions, and yet the poor little guy is too small to succeed. It doesn't have a chance.
Nope.
Can't even get a small business loan.
Now, in your opinion, does picking winners and losers include certain provisions that are already built into our tax code, tax breaks and subsidies for more traditional energy companies like coal, oil, and natural gas?
Well, you know, again, you're going to see, and probably not until the election is over with, and maybe not in a very crowded, busy, lame duck session, but in the 113th Congress, I think very early on in the 113th Congress, a revision of the tax code which will certainly be more detrimental, if you will, to the higher end taxpayer, whether we're talking about individuals or businesses. And I think that's as it should be. We want a simplified code. We want something that generates revenue without actually increasing the tax rate. That is what will allow the next president, the 45th president, Mitt Romney, to lower the corporate rate to 28% and have an across-the-board 20% reduction in all marginal rates. So,
now, when you say the tax code that would be put forth by the 113th Congress would be more detrimental to the higher income businesses and individuals, what exactly did you mean by that?
Well, detrimental is really not a good word, but I could use a phrase in place of it and say that their ox would be gored a little bit more than the middle income America. So much for the Democrats' charge that the Republicans only have interest in protecting the rich and penalizing the middle class, and that's absolutely not true. What we're trying to do is create an environment where the business community, the small business community, and indeed, yes, that does include a lot of earners at the $250,000 a year level, can stay in business and can prosper and thrive and afford to hire and grow this economy.
So in other words, fewer deductions for a lot of the folks who enjoy them now.
That's right.
Okay. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about health care as well and the role that it's playing in this election cycle. A new CNN poll shows that 54% of Americans currently believe that President Obama would be better on the issue of health care. 45% said Governor Romney would do a better job, and specifically on Medicare. Obama leads Romney 54 to 43%. Why is Romney so far behind on this issue?
Well, you know, we've got some work to do. There's no question about that. Our party and Governor Romney and Congressman Paul, our nominees, are certainly Paul Ryan, I should say, are going to have to work very hard. But I think that message will be told, and I think it will be told very effectively, especially with Paul Ryan having literally written the House budget that included some of the changes, voluntary changes, I might add, to the Medicare program, which indeed would make it solvent, would protect it, preserve it for current recipients, but also give an opportunity for our younger generation, children and grandchildren, to have a strong Medicare program and hopefully Social Security as well.
Now, Governor Romney is also facing some backlash from conservatives for saying that he would, quote, keep some parts, or I shouldn't say quote, but said he would keep some parts of Obamacare, like prohibiting insurance companies from denying coverage to people with pre-existing conditions. Do you think that some of this criticism is justified?
I don't think the criticism is justified. I think people need to understand that even the physician members of the Congress, of which I'm one, would take health insurance reform issues such as not denying coverage after the fact, of the allowing of young people to remain on their parents' health insurance policy at least till age 26. We're not opposed to that. In fact, we're in favor of that, and that's exactly what Governor Romney was speaking to. Of course, these young people wouldn't need to stay on their parents' health insurance policy if we had an administration that cared one tinker's toot about job creation. They spent 2 years cramming a third entitlement program down the throats of the American people, health care for all, and all the while the unemployment rate was above 8% and has remained there for 44 straight months. So they were fiddling while Rome was burning.
All right, Congressman, one last question before you go. We are talking about the issue of this continuing resolution. We've also seen these just terrible attacks on U.S. embassies and diplomatic posts in Egypt, as well as Libya. Do you think that we should include funding for these two countries in this continuing resolution? Or is it time to rethink the way that we provide financial support for these two countries?
Certainly I can understand some in a way knee-jerk response from my colleagues in regard to funding some of these regimes, but quite honestly, we've been funding Egypt to the tune of about $1.5 billion for a long time, most of it, of course, going to their military. And when Mubarak was still in office, that seemed to work well. And, of course, now that the new leadership is so ill-defined at this point, naturally, members of Congress want to look at that and question whether or not we should continue to fund. But I would say to withdraw funding at this point would be premature. I want to have time to look at that and think about it. And the same thing is true in Libya. It's a nascent government and leadership, and certainly I don't think anybody in this country would disagree with the fact that Gaddafi was a bad guy and on the verge of slaughtering a lot of his people. And my hope and prayers are that this government in Libya will be stable, and if we immediately withdraw any funding to places like Libya, but particularly Egypt, then I think that could be very counterproductive if we're not careful.
Well, we will see where the debate goes from here. Georgia Congressman Phil Gingrey, thanks so much for being with us today.
Okay, thank you very much.